everyone. I'm so glad you're here joining me today. Fall is upon us, y'all. It's the middle of September, and I know a lot of you have already probably been busy decorating, just as I have. And when I did my video a couple of weeks ago, and I took you through my living room and my little den where we watch TV, our little family room, I guess you'd say. And I told you I would be sharing with you my kitchen and my bedrooms. Well, what I did, I went ahead and did some decorating. So I thought instead of trying to take you through that whole process of me trying to figure out what I want to put here and all that, I thought I'm just going to kind of walk you through and show you what I did. I tried to keep it simple, but I'm just going to take you in little areas in those rooms and kind of show you what I did. So I'm going to start right here. So this piece here is this is a dry sink that these barrels are sitting on. And all I did, I rearranged my barrels a little bit because I really like all the brown wood colors. They go so well with all of our fall decorating. So in my kitchen, I just kind of like to keep it more natural. I like to use the corn stalks and just gourds, those kind of things, instead of trying to use so much of the artificial pumpkins. I just kind of like to keep it more natural. Now I do have some in here, but I kind of try to keep them a real muted color. It just seems like it goes better with the things that I have here in my kitchen. So what I've done here in this barrel, I buy these things. Usually I buy them every year. And if you don't have a place to buy them, it would be real easy to make them. And they're just the tops of corn stalks. You can see this is the top. You can see the little, whatever you call that little stuff that it makes at the top of a corn stalk. And all they've done is wrap around some jute string, and then they hang them up like this. Well, I always get them. Sometimes I hang them on my doors or cupboard doors or whatnot. But these, I just turn them up this way, keep them tied up in the bunch, and then I just like to fill my barrels or wooden containers. I don't know, I just think it looks really pretty for fall. So that's all I've done here, is just put some of the corn stalks in here. And of course they've cut those corn stalks off really short. They've cut all the long bottoms off, so you just have about this much. So that's what I've done here. And then right here, I just have a big gourd here. This is my gourd. My little stem broke on my gourd, so I'm going to have to try to fix that, mend that little stem. I somehow broke it trying to decorate. And I've just got some, I don't even know what you call this. I love it. I wished I could find some stuff like this. I think they call it primitive grass. I just don't have anywhere around here to get any, but just kept that simple. I've just got this in a little tin, just a little tin pan type thing. So that's all I've done right here. And I'm sure you guys remember seeing this thing. I use it every year. It's probably my favorite thing. It's just this big conglomeration of gourds and raffia. But I love this. And this is something that Mom and I made years ago. She made one and I made one. And I have used it every year since. And I always seem to hang it right here. For one thing, it's kind of out of the way over here. You're not going to be bumping into it. But I just think it looks pretty off of this old green cabinet that I have here. So that's what I did there. Now, here on my kitchen table, I decided to just use these pears that I had bought at Hobby Lobby last summer, or like back in, I probably bought them back in June, I think. And I thought when I bought them, I loved the color of them. I thought, well, that'd be perfect for fall. So I'm just going to leave these pears, and all I've done, I added a few little picks in here that I bought from Hobby Lobby. And of course, Hobby Lobby stuff is always on sale, even during the season. So, and they do have these again this year. I saw them when I was in there the other day. And I just added some, these were just some old dried stems that had come off of some gourds that I bought. And I think it looks pretty when you mix that. And I just laid it on one of these rug pieces that I always use. I've got a little wrought iron candle holder down here on one end. And then I've got this crock down here on the other end. And there you can see what I've got inside that bowl. This gives you a little better picture of the table as a whole. So that's all I've done on my kitchen table. Now over here in this corner, this is back here by my back door that goes to the basement. I have just got a shelf up here and with a bowl, and then you can see I've got just a little twig of bittersweet. Got some gourds inside these measures. Got some gourds up there in that one. So that's what I've got over here. And I gotta show y'all this cute little thing. I picked this up at an estate sale not too long ago. A little spoon holder that somebody has made, and I just thought that was the cutest thing. And then over here on my counters, I'll just kind of show you a little bit of what I've got. On my kitchen sink, I have this little brown tray. They called it a candy tray that just kind of sits there and hides my sink. And of course, this sun is coming in and it's hard to tell what I've got going on here. But you can see I've had this stuff forever. And it was like a big garland. And I just kind of twisted it down and put it inside this basket. So that kind of hides my faucet. You know how we guys love to hide things. And then I've got of course I got my coffee maker and everything back there. Got to have that. But this is a real pumpkin. Don't you guys love these kind of pumpkins? I just love them. And I thought the green on this pumpkin was so pretty because it kind of matches the green on that cabinet over there. So that's one reason I wanted to get that green pumpkin. And then I've just got my little green little stool bench sort of thing, whatever it was I bought from Ruth Profit. So I've just got some woodenware and a crock on that little bench. Then on top of my stove, I've just got this wooden bowl, and I've just got some of those pumpkins that I made from the Dollar Tree in here. Of course, they're just real muted in color. I've got a little bit of that, some of that viney looking stuff with some tiny pumpkins. And then over here, I've got this beautiful breadboard that was a gift from my friends Tara Crabtree and Darlene Sawyers. I love that. And under that little thing, I've just got some of my stone fruit. And I forget what they call these things that, I guess it used to keep flies off of things. There's a name for them, but right now I'm drawing a blank. But I love that sitting on my breadboard. I think that's really pretty. I love that. Now over here on this shelf, if the sun will cooperate, I didn't do much. Yeah, the sun's really, you might not be able to see good, but I've just got some hanging gourds. I've just tucked in a little bit of, just some little picks I've had through the years. I tucked those inside my bowls. Just a few here and there up on the shelf. Just some crocks and woodenware on this shelf. And I think that's about it in here. I'm really wanting to get me one of those magnets that goes on your refrigerator. I saw one when I was at Becky May's filming her home, and I just thought, you know, they have so many to pick from, and they have one that looks like it's kind of a green color, about the color of my cabinet over there, and I'm wondering what that would look like. They also have one that's kind of a black one, and it looks like an old pie save. So I think maybe, I don't know, I'm thinking about it. I may get one of those. And then it would also, you get the matching piece for your dishwasher too. So I think that would look a lot better than a big silver box that I've got sitting there right now. So here's an overall look of this room as a whole, kind of what my kitchen looks like with the what decorations for fall that I've added. Sometimes it's nice to see the whole room after you've gotten everything in. You kind of get a better idea what it looks like. So now let's just head down to my bedroom and I'll show you what I've done in the bedroom and the guest bedroom. So I'm walking down the hall, and this piece here is that red cabinet that I bought a while back, and I've got all my pewter in it. And all I've done with this piece, I've added a bittersweet garland at the top. And this sweet candle I got from Linda Gaskell on Facebook. I did her home tour last year, and she makes those beautiful candles. So I think it looks pretty, that pretty fall color, tucked in there with my pewter. So as we continue walking down the hall, you'll see I have this big long peg rack, which you can see here. And on this peg rack, I've just got some of those short corn stalks in this basket. And I've just got some hanging gourds here. And I feel like the gourds and the corn stalks really go well with all the neutrals and beiges and blacks and all the colors that I have here on this bench and on this peg rack down here in the hall. So now I'm down here in my bedroom, and I thought I would start with this little, I just have a little round tavern table that sits in front of this blue coverlet settee that I have in here. So I don't know, I know I have a lot of red and blue in here, but I felt like that this rust color would blend in fine, because what I've done, let me pull this out and show you guys what I've done. I added in, if I can get it out of here, I added in some of these red berries that just have a really dark stem. And I felt like by adding in these red berries, it made it to where it just blended a little better in here with all the reds, and I could mix that rust color with it. And I think it works, because the rust color's not very bright. It's kind of dull, and I just feel like that I think it works. And let me show you what it looks like from this side, where you can see the blue settee is the background. Now you can see a little bit better here. You can tell that I've got a little bit of red mixed in with this rust color. And I think it looks pretty with the blue on the background. And then there's a little better view with my bed in the background. Because the red I use in here is kind of a brick red anyway, so the rust color seems to blend pretty well. Now let me show you a couple more things that I did in this room. I moved my tricorn hat box in here, and I've just got, on top of that hat box, I've got my tricorn hat and a little pewter mug with some feathers, and then this fake pumpkin that I have glued a real stem on the top of, and I love that big huge stem. I think the stem is so pretty. And then I've just got a crock with some blue on it, with just a little hint of some fall twigs coming out of that. Now on this little cabinet I've got back here, I've just got crocks and coverlets in it, but on top of it I've just got, again, one of those little pumpkins that I painted with a real pumpkin stem. Just pretty simple. That's all I've got on there. And on my newest piece, my little Chippendale desk, all I did over here, because I just have my portraits above it, and my little 3 candle lights, and all I did here was just put a little candle ring that just has some of the rust colored berries on it. I think that's just enough. I didn't really do anything to this cabinet except a little bit of berries around the top. And they're just tiny. You can't hardly see much of the color on those. And I really haven't changed anything in here. So I've just got my cape and some powder horns hanging on that door. And then over here in this corner, I've just got a lot of little coverlet pieces folded up and some little coverlet pillows. But for the way of fall, I've just got this little candle with just a few little berries around it. And then in this window, I hope you can see, get a little different angle. I've just got a pumpkin and a crock with just some of those berries. These, I've told y'all before, are my favorites. I get these at Hobby Lobby, and I just love how They're just not very full. They're just kind of airy looking, and I like those. So that's what I did there. And then next to my bed on my little nightstand, all I have here is just a rye basket with just a beige looking pumpkin that I've painted. And it's got that big old real stem on it. That just makes them look so real when you put those dried pumpkin stems on them. I think that makes them look so real. So let me just give y'all a view of this whole room. Like I said, I didn't change much. You know, you don't have to change much. Just add a few little touches in of fall. And sometimes less is more. It just kind of, the pumpkins jump out at you. All the pretty colors of fall jump out. Just don't think you have to do a whole lot. And there's that corner and this side of the room. And then here's this side with that crock and the pumpkin sitting there that looks a little bit like fall. And I think that's all I have in here for fall. So now let's go into my spare bedroom and see what I've done. Now I'm in here in my guest bedroom, and I wanted to share something with you before I share my fall things I've got in here. I wanted to share these two pieces with you. This was a gift from Doug and Donna Ledbetter, and they live up in East Tennessee. And I met them when I did the Springfield, I did a little antique show in Springfield a couple years ago. And they were just the sweetest couple. And Doug makes replacement tins for pie safes, and he does such a good job. I'm going to get y'all a closer view so you can see. He sent me these, and they're framed in a pretty old red looking frame, and both of these, and they're different patterns, and he ages them and makes them look so old. And he sent these to me and said, you know, they look really pretty. You can set them in a window where the light filters through in the window. But I just thought they looked so pretty hanging together here on this wall in this bedroom. I really like them right here. And thank you so much, Doug and Donna, for sending me these. I really do appreciate it. I love them, and they're just so beautiful. And Doug, you do such a good job at doing these replacement tins. You really do. So thank you so much. So I'm still back here in my guest bedroom, and I just kept the reds on this bed. I've got the reds and the blacks. I changed the coverlet out on this bed to a black. I usually keep like an off-white solid color right through here on the bed part. And I had bought this piece at Target last year. It was just a big solid cover quilt type bedspread, not a bedspread, like a little coverlet. And I thought that for fall that would be pretty folded down at the foot of the bed. And then I just mixed in with my red check pillows. And it's not exactly fall colors, but I think it works. This is a funny story behind this. I just added this big, huge gourd. I got this last year from Norma Schneeman when I went to film her shop that's down in Paducah, Kentucky. And so anyway, the other night, I'm sitting here, and my son, Joey, which I call him Bubba, Bubba came in, and he had his little girlfriend, Natalie, with him. And they had come back here to get something out of one of these closets. And Natalie come in there, and she said, "Did you know that you have a giant, big, huge gourd in the middle of your bed?" And I said, "Yes, I did. I purposely put it there." And she thought that was so funny because this thing is so huge. But I don't know, something about it just worked. I just liked that gourd sitting on that bed. I thought the colors were pretty together. So I like it. Of course, y'all know me, I love gourds. So I thought it looked really cute there. But anyway, I'll show you what I've got right here. Let me move my camera just a little bit. And again, in this room, I didn't do a whole lot, just added a few touches. I've just have some of these ones, like the stem I have there in my bedroom that I got from Hobby Lobby. It's just one stem, and I've just mixed. I picked this up at Hobby Lobby this year, and it's just, and this was so inexpensive. I think these stems were 40% off, and these kind of dark beige ones, they ended up being, I think maybe, they may have been $3 for the stem. And I think I've got, three stems in here. I think it's what I've got, 3 stems in here. But those two mixed together, I thought looked so pretty. It kind of, the beige kind of looked good with that big, huge gourd I've got sitting on the bed. But I like those, and I just put it in a, little wooden container. And you might be able to see a little better, maybe a little closer. And then in this corner cabinet, really didn't do anything. I've just got my stone fruit in here and a crock. But on the top here, I just put a few little berries. It's in a candle ring around the top. And then I don't have anything fall right here. Just my bowls and all my little spinning type weaving wheels. I love that stuff. I did add a few gourds and a little child's cape. I love that little cape. I think it's so cute. Added the little child's cape and just some of these little strung gourds. Now over here in this corner where I just showed you those pie safe tins, I have a rye basket. And y'all can tell when I do a certain lighting in here, these walls look yellow, and they're not yellow. They're like a beige color, but sometimes they look like they're yellow. But anyway, I've got just some corn and some bittersweet and some more of those picks from Hobby Lobby mixed in there. Seems like it kind of brightens that corner up just a tad. And I've just got my little pillow that I made that pillow a few years ago. Just some little wool that I have blanket stitched onto that beige fabric. And then of course every year I have to put my hooked rug out that Paula Brown made for me from East Tennessee. Did Paula's house. She was one of the first houses I did, I think the first year that I was on YouTube. And she made this beautiful Halloween hooked rug for me, and I really love that. And you can see I don't have a lot of fall in here, but I do have a little bit. Of course, my big huge gourd on the bed. And these pretty flowers. I don't know, I love flowers. I know that maybe some people don't like artificial flowers, but I think for every season, flowers just make things pretty. I just love them. So that's this room all decorated, what little bit I did for fall. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this video today. I'll be having more fall tours coming up. And then after that, I've got lots of beautiful homes lined up for Christmas. I will be doing my porch and my deck probably next week. I may end up putting 2 videos on next week. You know, fall's getting away from us before we know it. Before we know it, it'll be Halloween. And we'll be ready to decorate for Christmas after that. Anyway, I thank all of you for watching, and all of you that have subscribed, and all the kind comments that you send me. I really do appreciate it. But I hope you enjoyed this today, and I'll see you in the next one.